Welcome back to another Hypermotard build video, and in this episode we have 4 things that we're gonna do. So firstly, we've got a radiator grill which we're gonna install over there in the front. Moving on, we have a tail tidy and the license plate. Currently it's temporarily attached with some zip ties because I'm not 100% sure about the fitment yet, because I would like to actually not fit a tail tidy at all and stick the license plate over here so it's more flush and keep the back of the bike more clean. So apart from the tail tidy, we've also got some nice stealth mirrors, so we're gonna be removing the ugly stock ones which are also rusty and faded, and after that we're gonna be bleeding the brakes and putting some new fresh fluid from Ferrodo. And to aid us in that process, we're gonna be using a one-way valve bleeder. As usual, everything will be in the description of this video. We'll put a link for everything. So let's get started. So the new grill, it attaches to the sides. So 2 Allen bolts each on each side. So we're gonna remove those. So after removing the side covers, I just realized that the shoulder bolts, the stock ones, don't fit fully inside the holes of the new radiator grill because obviously the shoulder, and I do not have the exact size bolts. These are a bit long, so they don't fully fit inside the radiator. So what I'm gonna do is still install the grill with the stock bolts. It's gonna look a bit ugly because these bolts are gonna be sticking a bit out, but this is just temporarily until I get some bolts like these which are a bit shorter. We've got the radiator guard ready. Now we're gonna move on to the brake bleeding. So let's get the one-way valve and also the brake fluid. So we're gonna need an 8mm wrench to undo the bleed nipple, which is located right under this rubber, and also a Phillips screwdriver to undo the master cylinder reservoir. Now with the one-way valve, we don't need to close the bleed nipple and put pressure every time. We're just gonna keep pressing the lever on the master cylinder, and obviously do not let the fluid go empty inside the reservoir. Also, rule of thumb, always start from the caliper furthest away from the master cylinder. So looking from the front, I'm gonna start from the right one. So on your one-way valve, you will have an arrow which is pointing the direction where the flow will go. So the arrow will point to our waste fluid. And over here we have the old fluid, which is not that clear, so it needs a good flush. We're just gonna keep pumping the lever and topping it off until it becomes clean on the other end. Well, the rear fluid looks really dirty, so good thing we're changing it. So the rear bleed nipple for the rear caliper is over here at the bottom. So brakes are both done, front and rear. We have nice fresh fluid now. Next up, mirrors. So I've got the right hand side mirror, pretty standard, just an Allen bolt and the washer. So now we've also got the stealth mirrors installed and they look absolutely amazing. They clean up the front end so good. They're barely visible when they're closed. So if you're riding on the street, you can easily open them simply like this. They look so much better than the stock bulky mirrors. Obviously, you're not gonna have the same visibility from these mirrors because they're very small and the glass is not actually convex. So yeah, be careful of that. You're gonna have a little bit less visibility. But yeah, they look amazing and I'm pretty happy with them. So now we've got the brakes bled, rear and front. We've also got the mirrors installed, radiator guard, and lastly, we're gonna install the tail tidy. So this is simply 2 Allen bolts. And what's nice about this is that it slots directly into these 2 holes which are on the bike already. So it's gonna be pretty strong and sturdy. So we are actually ready for today now. We've installed the mirrors, radiator guard, tail tidy, and flushed the brakes, the brake fluid. Little items that make such a big difference on the bike. The mirrors, they cleaned up the front of the bike really well. Even the tail tidy, because we installed the integrated taillight. So we had to remove the stock license plate holder. Also, the grill will help us protect the radiator from stone chips, which is also pretty helpful, apart from making it look also nicer. And obviously, finally, the brakes. We needed a good flush because the brake fluid looked very old and dirty. So we have some good fluid now. Hopefully, the brakes also improved and we have better braking power, which is much needed, obviously, because we're gonna take the bike to the track eventually. So we need those good brakes. Now I'm hoping for the next episode we're gonna be replacing the starter motor, which I previously mentioned. This model had a faulty one, which they later replaced, Ducati, the part number. So we've ordered a new one. We're gonna replace that to fix the slow cranking issues. And that is all, guys, for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.